Lou, I am so excited to be on a date with you.
Me too.
Cheers.
Thank you for having me.
Do you think that people are like getting a little bit intimidated by you when you're all geared up?
I don't know. That's a good question, actually. Potentially. I think if I go to a party, then it's a bit intimidating not to see someone's face, right? And but for me, being in the latex, it's interesting because it's a way to hide and being noticed at the same time. And it's really interesting to see how different people approach you when you're in the latex or when you're not. It's like a really different type of interaction. It's really interesting to experience, like, yeah, both.
Yeah. And speaking of, are you the same person in latex as without?
I think it's still me, but another version of me, if that makes sense. I feel more confident. I feel like I have more power. It's really kind of slipping into a character skin, if that makes sense. And yeah, I think I'm definitely more confident. And when it comes to sex as well, it really helped me getting into a character or getting into a certain, headspace and completely switch. So it's really interesting. And I think when I don't have my hood, maybe I'm a bit more insecure. I'm someone quite introverted, so then I always like, I don't know, maybe a bit like super like conscious of how I look and and when I have the hood, it's not a problem anymore because I'm just this like latex like woman, and like it's really empowering, I would say.
Yeah. Do you think the whole being introverted and latex go together?
I think so. I mean, I also know really extroverted people who are into latex, but I think there is also introverted people into latex for sure. It's like you're protected, you feel secure, like your skin feels like really precious, and it's kind of an armor, if that makes sense, kind of a protection to the outside world.
Yeah.
So in this sense, yes, I think me being an introvert, it's really comfy to be inside my little, like, shell.
Yeah, but when you date, do you prefer the other person? Like, is that a criteria for you that they also are into latex?
Not at all, to be honest. I mean, I'm super happy if they're open-minded and interested and want to know more about it, maybe explore a little bit more, but it's not like a requirement at all. Like, no.
No? Okay, but how? Because it's also something sexual for you, or you get excited sexually also about the material?
So it can be. So I don't need latex to be involved to have sex, right?
No,
but it can definitely be something which help. And if I want to do something with more of a power dynamic, then latex really help me with that. Doesn't matter if I'm more the dominant or submissive person in the scene. If I have my hood, I'm in the right mindset, and for me, it's easier to go deeper and push boundaries a little bit more. In that sense,
All right. So if we are on a date now, and you are like, I fancy her. How would you make a move?
Oh my God, I don't make a move. Like, really, I'm really bad at this. I think I will make the other person understand, like with my body language or the way I look at them. But it's really hard for me to do the first step. I think it's probably like fear of rejection,
So are you flirting right now?
What do you think?
I think it's very subtle, if so.
Yeah, okay.
So I think I would not notice it. I think I would be like, yeah, she's definitely want to be friends with me.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's hard sometimes to understand how the other person perceives you, right?
Yeah.
And, but I think I'm not the best at flirting, maybe. I'm really waiting for the other person to make like an obvious move, and then I'm like, okay, they're into me, cool, and then I'm a bit more relaxed.
All right. Yeah. Okay, so you were doing. How did it all start? Like, how did you get into latex?
Yeah, so actually quite late, I would say. I know a lot of people have like childhood memories, which were already predicting like the future fetish for latex or things like that. for me, it really came a bit later. So I first discovered the fetish scene in London. So I'm from Paris, but then moved to London for like 3.5 years, and I discovered the fetish scene there.
How was that experience for you?
Yeah, it was amazing. Really, it was like wow, like a whole like new world was opening to me. Like so, at the time I was in a monogamous relationship with my ex, and we had like a really good sexual life, but really classic, super fulfilling. But I was like, there must be something else. There must be more than that. And I really wanted to experience more and have more like power play. And I was like, how can I do this? And I asked him, do you want to try this or that? And he was really not interested at all. And
you
so
like break up.
We did.
Yep.
I mean, that wasn't the main reason, but yeah, we did break up. And at the time, my flatmate, who was also becoming a pro-dom at the time, really got me into it. So we started doing ropes together, and she took me to my first club verboten. And really, for me, that was the start. And from there, I was like, okay, that's my community. That's where I belong. And yet, since then,
they moved to Berlin. You moved to Berlin.
Exactly at the same time, actually. So it was perfect timing.
Coincidence?
Yeah.
I think not.
Maybe not.
Okay, cute. Are you more submissive leaning or dominant leaning?
I would say submissive. 80% of me is submissive. It's really my comfort zone, right? So for me,
I think we could be a match then.
Oh yeah? Okay.
All right, let's discover. Okay, tell me more.
So are you 80% dominant then?
I think, that's a very good...
Interesting.
I think 80% would be good.
Yeah, for me it would be 20% dominant then. I think when I get into the right mindset and I feel confident and safe enough to be dominant, I really enjoy it, and I had like amazing experiences, but it's not so easy to get there for me.
Takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, exactly, and be with the right person, the right setting, and feel like confident enough. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be ridiculous doing this, I feel like not super...
You get in your head.
Yeah, a bit as well, exactly. And so I'm like, oh, what am I doing? As I'm enjoying it, and like, it can get a bit like, scary. But when things go well and I really feel that the other person is enjoying, then I have like a lot of pleasure doing it. But yeah, it doesn't happen so often, I would say.
I see.
Yeah.
So now, since you got into the fetish scene deeper, is it a criteria for you? Also, you have the experience with your ex who wasn't really into it.
Yeah.
Is that like a big green flag for you that they are in the scene?
I mean, to be honest, my current partner isn't in the scene. But for me,
you picked another one of those.
Yeah, but it's okay. I think for me, the most important is like I'm with someone who is open and willing to discover and like try things out, because I'm not an expert as well, right? I'm learning every day. There's still things I want to experience. So if I can do this together with him, great, But I don't need someone who is like super deep into the scene already. That's not really so important. Yeah.
How did you meet then? Was it when you were in gear or out?
No, actually no. I was just myself without latex, so he discovered it later on. But
and he liked it?
Yeah, I think he was really intrigued, and I think he liked it. Yes.
So what is it mostly for you? Is it the way it comforts your body, the smell?
Yeah, I would say it's a lot of different things. So first of all, I like how it feels on my body, like just the process of shining the latex. I like the smell as well, and I find it really beautiful, and then, as I was saying, if I go to a party, it's really a way to hide and being noticed at the same time, and really slip into a different character and kind of escape my everyday life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but last time we met, you were not in your...
No, I wasn't. So to be honest, if I go to a fetish party or kink party, then I will dress with latex. But if I go to a regular, like Berlin, club night, then usually I don't wear latex.
Because you feel... is it because you feel uncomfortable when not your community is around?
Yeah, I think that's one thing. And also, I mean, it can get quite sweaty and uncomfortable. So if I want to go out and dance, then maybe it's not the best outfit to be in.
For long hours.
Exactly, yeah. And then sometimes I would feel a bit out of place, if everyone is like wearing like raving like outfit and I'm just with like full latex, maybe it's not the right place. Yeah.
Fair enough. But how was it for you to when you discovered it? Like, did you get the full gear pretty quick? You were like, "Fuck, I really know that I am into this." Because now you're so cute, like being a French girl with a beret.
Yeah, French touch.
In latex, you're just
$1
million. So how did it? Because obviously a beret in latex, then you know. You're very like you've been like discovering it to the next level somehow.
Yes, exactly. And actually I discovered it like when I got into it, I really got into it. So basically I discovered the kink parties and like the fetish scene in London, and I was just like basically looking for new outfits to go out. That was as simple as that. And I knew like latex was a big thing, right, on the fetish scene, and I was super intrigued, and I was like, oh, how is that? Like, I would like to try. So I bought the first like really basic set from William Wild. So just the bra and panties, and I straight away like loved it. I was like, oh my God, I really love like shining it, and it felt so good, like the smell, everything. I was like, wow, that's my thing, I love it, yeah. And so then I started buying more and more like covering pieces, like quite quickly actually. And also at the time I met someone who I dated for a bit, and he was heavily into latex as well. So I discovered the latex in a more like sexual way with him. And then I just like kept going and bought my first catsuit, then the hood. And for me the hood was, if I can only keep one latex piece, that would be the hood. For me it's such an important piece, and the first time I tried the hood, like I was like really so happy, and I was like, oh my God, that's me, I love it.
So, when was that?
So that was, I would say 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah,
that was the hood year.
4 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Okay, but what is the biggest turn on? That you are dressed in latex and the partner isn't, or that the partner is dressed in latex and you aren't?
So for me, it depends. It depends like of the dynamic of the dynamic I have with the person, like what the scene is. So for me, if the other person is like fully into latex, then for me it would be maybe easier to be more dominant, because I can't see expression, I can't see the face, and you really objectify the person, right? And then I feel really like empowered, and it's really easier for me to be dominant. So this is if the other person wears latex. And then if I wear latex and the other person isn't, then I think most of the time I will be more submissive, but it would also be easier to be dominant, because, you know, I'm hidden. It's like, okay, no, I'm gonna do mean things to you. It's not really me, it's this character, and then it's also easier.
So when you got into the fetish scene and the sex club, do you say sex club scene? Anyway, the sex club
scene, whatever.
Yeah. What was that like? Because my experience is that it's a very welcoming community.
Yeah.
But did you discover? You said you discovered it together with a friend.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So actually, the very first party I went to with was this ex that wasn't into it, so we didn't have such a good experience there. And then I started going with my friend, also flatmate at the time. And then really quickly, I met someone who became a partner for 1 year, and we really have this like sub-dom like dynamic in sex, and really explored a lot with him. And from there, I was just going out to like all the parties, like meeting people from the community. And I think in London, like we are so lucky to have like such an amazing community. And it's once you get into it, it's so easy to make connection, meet partners, friends, and that really became like my social like circle after a few months.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like latex is such a covering piece.
Yeah.
But I mean, in my understanding, you're pretty shadow banned on Instagram.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, I still don't understand it, to be honest. Like, kept on having my post deleted, my profile got deleted a few times, and I don't know, because I think Instagram think is like too like sexualizing the body or something, so they don't like it.
It's so wild.
Yeah, it's upsetting. It's really upsetting.
I put up a video on TikTok with my dog and Blood Shrimp, another latex fetishist, who was just walking my dog, and it got removed.
No way.
People were commenting like, bark twice if you need help.
I think TikTok is even worse than Instagram, no?
Yeah. But it's just so wild. Like, you can be dressed as Catwoman, I suppose.
Yeah, and you're good, but the latex.
You just need the ears then, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should try that.
It's like I'm Catwoman. Yeah, it's so stupid.
But what they don't like, obviously it's like ball gags being like this, and I had pictures with ball gags, so I think maybe once the profile is like targeted, then it's like really tricky, and that's why I don't post so much anymore, because I'm like, if I want to post something a bit fun, you know, like it's gonna get removed. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you have any fears for the fetish scene and the future?
Talking about London or Berlin or like in general?
That's a good question. I'm also super curious actually to hear your experience about the difference between both also Paris fetish scene.
Oh,
non-existent.
Not exist.
That's what I hear all the time. I was like, maybe someone knows something.
No, I mean there is some parties they are trying, but it's far behind. Yeah.
And all right, far behind. Bah.
Yeah.
Okay, then we just compare London and Berlin.
London and Berlin, yes. So it's actually really different. So when I moved to Berlin, I thought it was like capital of sexual freedom and the kink community is gonna be amazing and so on. But actually it's not the case at all. I mean, from my experience then, I don't know if, for other people, but I think in London it's a lot, go to a party, people arrive early, they are sober, they take the spot in the playroom, they do the scene, and you see like really complex interaction, like really niche kink. One of the first time I went to Verboten in London, there were those like 4 people fully covered in latex head to toe, and 2 of them also had gas masks, so pretty like scary looking, I would say. And they spent hours in the playroom just like smelling each other and gently touching each other, and like super wholesome moments, and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. It wasn't about like sex penetration, it was just like about enjoying the material, and they were just there for like super long time.
This is what I love with the kink scene. They understand so much more about what sex can be than the classic vanilla
because sometimes
encounters.
I don't know, I go to a sex club in Berlin, and sometimes it's a bit of a demonstration of mainstream porn by like straight couple. Nothing against straight couple, of course, but you know what I mean. It's not really like
it's the man is the dominant, the girl is the submissive, and it's like
and
showing your big muscles, and I can carry her, and you're just like, wow, what porno am I in right now? I want to change channel.
Yeah, exactly. So
I know. Yeah. Okay, I feel so. But you are in Berlin, though. However,
I am, and I'm super happy to be here. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's an amazing city, and I think Verboten is doing a great job here, also to change mentalities around like sex parties and bringing like a safe space. I mean, as safe as it can be. And the safeguard team and a lot of rules, and this really didn't exist before. And I think it's amazing what they do here. Yeah.
What is your biggest red flag when you're dating someone?
When I date someone, I think someone overly confident, or someone too self. No, not you. Wait, I didn't finish my sentence. No, or someone who is like really self-centered, only speaking about themselves and not asking questions and just like, showing off, and I'm not the one who's gonna speak if you don't like, try to interact and ask questions, so I can just be here like for hours waiting for someone speaking, and this is horrible. I don't like that.
I agree, especially if you're dating more men, like at least to me, I have a different taste in men and women.
Yeah.
Like for me, I feel that when men are overly confident, I feel that I kind of put them in a category that is like, all right, it's going to be one of these ones. And when a woman is overly, if so sad, confident, I more see like, oh wow, she came a long way.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I agree with you actually.
Yeah,
fair. Yeah,
interesting. All right, so. What would you then say are your biggest green flags?
My biggest green flags? I think like the opposites, like someone who doesn't brag, you know, someone who might be really talented or do a lot of things, but is not gonna be here showing off. And really try to create a conversation, get to know you, ask questions. Like, I think this is super important for me. Really feel that the person wants to get to know you, as opposed to like, oh, like I'm so great and I'm gonna tell you why, you know.
Yeah, get to know you.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
what's
your biggest love language?
My biggest love language?
Like on how you treat another partner that you feel most comfortable in, I guess.
I think a lot of physical touch.
All right, you're a physical person.
Yeah, I mean, I don't come across like this. I think I can be quite distant, but once I feel comfortable with someone, I'm like all over them, you know, so I think it's like the physical touch is super important for me. And then I would say just spend like qualitative moment with the person, you know.
I would like, or I think many people would like to hear your top 3 sex clubs.
Oh my God, in Berlin?
In Berlin and London. Maybe like mix them together and include one at least in Berlin, if possible.
Okay, so I would say Cleverbottom, number 1.
Is that Berlin?
Both, I think.
Yeah.
Both. And then to be honest, when it comes to Berlin, I went to a few sex parties, but there is none. I was like, oh wow, this is amazing, I love it. So I think that would be it for...
I haven't been to the London Cleverbottom yet.
No, are you sure?
I know, and it's on my bucket list since way back. I'm so excited. I'm coming for sure.
Yeah, I was there 2 weeks ago actually, like for the first time in like nearly a year. It was good to be back.
Yeah, so fun. It's so much bigger, but it's so good here too. I really love it.
Yeah, I love it here. So yeah.
But now, wait, I only heard Cleverbottom, and then the second one. Which one did you say?
I didn't name any of the name. I think there was a sex club back in the time in London, which I really liked, but it doesn't exist anymore, so I'm not gonna name it.
We can all just. All right. So second is no place. Then what?
And then now, I think to be honest, what I like is like more like intimate, more like dungeon parties, like private play parties. I think that would be more my thing.
But okay, the next question would be more so how do you find them? Because if if you want to get into it.
So it's basically, if you get into the scene, then, some like people organize, little like play parties. So I think first you need to meet people, go out to like the bigger event, and then eventually you meet the community and you're gonna get introduced to those like more like intimate parties. Yeah, but I haven't found this in Berlin yet, so maybe they exist and I'm not in the,
Yeah, let's see. I have a little feeling that Cleverbottom might start some other social events, but who knows?
That would be great.
Who knows? Yeah. Thank you so much, Lou. I really love to be on a date with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.